John Call here, speaking to you on a Sunday night. The legislature's been over now for 2 days. I just returned from a memorial service here in the Twin Cities honoring Nancy Broaddus. There was an equal mix of Republicans and Democrats at the event, and 2 former governors, including Al Cui and Arnie Carlson. I'm going to kick off this report with a broad overview of things that have happened, and at the end I will yield to Peg Larson to talk more specifically about what happened in the E12 arena. Let's start out with the unsession. It was a shorter session than normal, but only because it started late. They did manage to finish 2 days early, which was something of surprise, because it looked to me a week ago as though the legislature had lost its momentum after the long break. I think we'd have to say that the legislature in this off-year, even-numbered year session, unsession, got a lot more accomplished than certainly I thought they would. They passed a $1 billion bonding bill when all the pieces of it are put together. Part of that was a $35 million for Rochester's Civic Center. There was a $550 million tax cut. They passed a minimum wage bill, medical marijuana, and the unsession was also a success for the governor in that 1,007 of his proposals to get rid of outmoded, duplicitous language in the statutes were passed into law. About the only thing that was important that didn't happen was some kind of significant transportation bill. So despite my worst fears and doubts about a pell-mell short session that would not accomplish much, they got quite a bit done. In addition to everything else that I've listed, there was again that first tax bill. It contained a variation on our original language regarding a location equity index. What was ultimately passed carries the spirit of that idea, but expands it to districts across the state.
Thanks, John. Peg Larson here, giving you an update of the Omnibus K-12 bill that was wrapped into the big Omnibus bill that included everything on environment, ag, jobs, every subject that would have a finance piece to it. The big news is that in 2015 there will be a $25 permanent increase on the per pupil formula. I know that Chair Marquardt fought very hard for that and really wanted to even get more than that, but he was in the ditches just fighting away for it, so we have him to thank for that. They do have a lot of information about area learning centers and extended time in this bill. For English language learners, 4th through 12th graders who have taken an assessment test approved by the commissioner, they can be placed in an English language learner classroom or situation even though they may not have been before, or if their teacher has the judgment that they need to be in an English language learner class, they can also be placed in that class on just the person say so. They did a lot for recovery schools also. The referendum guarantee is the sum of a district's referendum equalization aid and vocation equity aid must not be less than the sum of the referendum equalization aid the district would have gotten in 2015. The board approved allowance of referendum of levies up to $300. If you have less than $300 per adjusted pupil unit in referendum authority, after the local option revenue subtraction may authorize new referendum authority. They put money in safe schools. They took it from $10 up to $15 per student, and the current year aid payment will now equal $90. Pilot projects that could be between 2 districts are now extended to 2018 or 5 years, whichever comes first. And you can collaborate together with the school staff and the approval of the board to do a pilot project to put school districts together to unite for a secondary education building. They have a lot in the bill about teachers being discharged, the reason they can be discharged, how they can be discharged. Then they also have quite a bit in the bill about teacher performance and expectations and exactly how that should be handled. The Early Childhood Literacy Program will find an increase in 2015. It goes up to $5,125,000 from the $4,125,000. That was quite a bone of contention on the Senate side, as they wanted more money on that. Teacher certification partnerships, 9 through 12 grade, and phys ed also get money. Special ed includes information about inclusion in the classroom and restrictions. They define that even further in the bill, and how you have to report if you have used a restrictive mechanism in a special ed. A special ed paperwork, they now want to have a statewide online system, which should make things much easier for special ed teachers and for the district to report their special ed information. 2 or more school districts may agree to jointly operate a secondary facility. The pilot project was not for the secondary facility. It's a pilot project on anything that you would like to work together with another school district. Remodeling of a facility gets some money, and nutrition. Now kids who are on free to reduced lunch will get a decent lunch, the same as the other kids, without any stigma and without any cost. But they also added free breakfast to kindergartners only, and that was Senator Alice Johnson really pushed hard for that. And they'll reimburse you $1.30 for each pupil to give them breakfast. Early childhood talks a lot about including the parents, and as in the policy bill. They also talk about staff development and having a district-wide advisory council to help the parents understand, what their children are going through and help to translate documents to the parents. They also talk about early adult basic education, and they have solved the problem as to how you can get a graduate degree from the school that you attended before you dropped out. ELL 5th and 6th graders go up to $10,888 for the years 16-17. School lunch will go up in 15 to $3,519,000, and 2016 to $3,626,000. And by school year 16-17, it will go up to $7,252,000. They have money into school readiness. By 16-17, it'll be $4 million. And they put money into PSEO remedial credits at ALCs, and they did take the money away from PSEO advertising in this bill. School safe levy, as I said, went up $5. Building lease levy is now at $470,000 for 16 and $495,000 for 17. That's about it.
Thank you, Peg. Regarding the statewide health insurance issue as it pertains to self-insured school districts, I think the alterations that we were able to make in that bill, working closely with the School Board Association, make it more palatable. I think a school district like ours will likely not have to go out for bid but every 5 years, which was a lot better than what started out originally, and we do not have to submit bids to PEEP. So I think that was worth mentioning. And finally, I would like just to say on behalf of Peg and I how much we enjoy working with you and the Rochester public school system. Thank you very much.